Hello everyone. Regardless of your age, you probably at least once dreamed of finding a hidden treasure. Just like in adventure books and movies, of course. Alas, there aren't many opportunities to find a pirate's hoard in real life, especially if you live in the city and if you aren't an archaeologist. But don't worry, there's always a chance to stumble upon a time capsule. Sometimes even scientists don't know about their existence, and their location remains a mystery until the end. For today's video, we have collected stories about time capsules from the past, discovered accidentally by ordinary people. Let's get it on. Steve Jobs' mouse. Usually, time capsules are either common knowledge or personal treasures. Steve Jobs was involved in the creation of a time capsule with a truly amazing story. In 1983, a 4-meter-long container was buried in Aspen, Colorado. According to the original plan, the capsule was supposed to be unearthed in the year 2000, but the people responsible forgot where the capsule was. Yeah, what can you do? Finally, the tube was dug up in 2014, thanks to the efforts of a team from a National Geographic reality show. It took the diggers more than 2 hours to lift the huge capsule to the surface, and 2 pits had to be dug to determine the exact location of the treasure, but it was worth it. All sorts of things were found inside the tube. After all, it was buried at the closing of the International Design Conference in Aspen. The conference attendees donated miscellaneous items, including a Rubik's Cube, nameplates, a Moody Blues tape, and a Lisa mouse provided by Steve Jobs. They also put a few cans of beer into the tube as a reward for those who would find this unusual treasure. Shoe Museum. When it comes to time capsules, people usually imagine a metal box or a tube, but it can also be an entire room or a store. Redditor October75 always knew that his grandfather and grandmother owned an old building with a shoe store inside. The shop was open from the 40s to the 60s and closed down when the old lady who owned it fell ill. It remained intact for over 40 years until October75 decided to look inside one day. He found inside a pile of shoe boxes covered with a thick layer of dust. Moreover, he also found many shoes that were perfectly preserved. Of course, they needed to be cleaned, but after that, they could even be worn. The shoes with rubber soles were damaged by time, becoming fragile and dry, while fabric and leather boots turned out to be more durable and resistant. By the way, this discovery has a significant historical value. The store itself has retained the charm of the past, and everything from the shoes to the furniture looks like a huge time capsule. Cleveland's time capsule. Sometimes time capsules are discovered by chance, for example when a building is demolished. That's what happened in Cleveland. A Catholic church closed down in 2007, and some years after, it was decided to demolish the building altogether. During the operations, the workers came across a memorial dedicated to World War II veterans, and also the cornerstone of the building, where they found a time capsule dating back to 1915.
Oh, wow!
Inside was a handwritten letter by Thomas Charles O'Reilly, who was born in Cleveland and then became bishop of the Catholic Church. In addition to the letter, they found ancient coins, statuettes, various objects, as well as a newspaper from the day the capsule was hidden. Also in the metal box, there was a drawing depicting the church, which had already been destroyed, a sad reminder of how beautiful the building once was. Boston's time capsule. Old buildings hide many surprises, and even usual repair works can lead to a sensational discovery. The workers who were fixing the water supply in the Massachusetts State House suddenly stumbled upon a time capsule buried in 1795 by 2 heroes of the American Revolution, Paul Revere and Samuel Adams. They hid the capsule during the construction of the building, and no one had even suspected that such an incredible treasure was concealed in the State House. The copper box, weighing about 4.5 kilograms, was removed with great care for several hours because it was placed in the recess of a huge stone, and the hole was sealed with plaster. Museum experts studied the contents of the box with the help of X-rays and other modern equipment in order to not damage anything during the subsequent opening. It turned out that the capsule was closed so carefully that it took about 4 hours to unwind the screws. The opening revealed that the box contained 24 gold and silver coins from 1652 to 1855, a bronze medal with the image of George Washington, several old newspapers, and a seal of the state of Massachusetts. contents. All this, according to experts, was preserved in very good condition. It also turned out that the box had already been extracted in 1855, when it was also accidentally discovered during repair work. The contents were carefully inspected, several items were added to it, and then the capsule was returned to the same place. Time capsule in the stone. You must know the legend of the sword in the stone, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. They have been featured in many films and even video games. But what about the capsule in the stone? Columbian Park in Lafayette, Indiana has always had a lot of boulders, but one of them, located at the entrance to the zoo, turned out to be really special. On March the 22nd, 2019, the workers were preparing the land for planting and decided to move a huge boulder from 1931. Then, a memorial plaque was attached to it. The workers decided to move it and turned over the stone. It was then when they found a copper box that had been on the bottom of the boulder all this time, carefully fixed with cement. They had to call the Lafayette Fire Department to retrieve the contents. Inside the capsule, a newspaper was found, but it was impossible to determine its exact date due to the large amounts of moisture. The paper that had been lying under the stone for 88 years was badly damaged, but this did not upset the scientists who were eager to study the artifact anyway. Time capsule in a church. Apparently, it's some kind of tradition to hide time capsules near the cornerstones of churches. This treasure was also discovered accidentally by workers demolishing a religious building. It turned out that there was a hole in the lower part of the cornerstone and a metal box inside. They had to use tools to carefully open it and take a look at the contents. Inside were the Washington Post and Washington Star newspapers from 1894, a collection of old coins, as well as several religious books and some other treasures, and everything was in perfect condition. 2 time capsules. You think it's almost impossible to find a time capsule? Well, some people found 2 at once. The builders who were renovating a heritage building of a school in Moncton, Canada, made an amazing discovery during the restoration. They discovered 2 small metal boxes filled with a variety of objects, including newspapers, money, postcards, and letters that offer a glimpse into people's lives in the late 1800s. The worker who found the capsules said that he was using a jackhammer on the building's exterior when he suddenly noticed a strange glint. It turned out to be a metal box dating back to 1897. Amazingly, this ancient capsule even survived a fire. In 1915, the school building caught fire and was almost destroyed. It was restored only a year later, but the fire didn't damage the treasures hidden in the wall. The second capsule was laid just after the fire, and in it, the researchers found a list of the teachers teaching at the school in 1915. It's said to be a unique document. The researchers claim that not only the content of the capsules is relevant, but also the fact that someone in the past bothered to save that moment in history. Lion's time capsule. And lastly, another story about Boston. This city must be full of time capsules. Well, it's not surprising because Boston was founded in 1630 and it's the oldest city in the United States. We've already talked about a time capsule that was found in the State House. This one was discovered by accident in the old State House. Statuettes of a lion and a unicorn decorate its facade. Unlike any historical artwork, they require cleaning. In September 2014, the figures were removed in order to clean them up. To the great surprise and delight of the researchers, a metal container was found inside the lion's head. It wasn't too big, like a shoebox, but it was definitely a time capsule. Inside there was a book published in 1896 on US international relations, several letters, newspapers and pictures of famous politicians at the time, as well as a small piece of wood. As explained in the note, it was part of a wooden statue of a lion that used to decorate the roof of the State House. All the objects were in perfect condition, as if they'd been placed in the head of the lion just a couple of days ago, and not more than 100 years ago. Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.